everybody, it's me. Trying to see where I put the key. The key to get back into the house. I can't tell you like what going through custody for 8 years does to you mentally. I can't even tell you what it does to you. It just messes you up. Especially when you don't have a support system. It just messes you up. Because everything is just you on your own. It's like carrying this around with you forever and ever. You know. I don't have support. I don't have anybody helping me. In any way, shape, or form, I don't have anyone. Just me. And you know what? It's every year it gets heavier and heavier to carry it around with you. Just not seeing your children for so long, it really affects you. Affects you so much. I just can't tell you like what not seeing your children for so long does to you. You know. I mean, if I was a parent that didn't care about my children, it would be so much easier. But when you're, you know, when you have kids, you have this bond with your children. Like you have this bond. And then to have those children ripped away from you. I mean, and then basically you're told to go on about your life and forget that you have children. That's not normal. Like, that's not how it is. And that's basically what I was expected to do. I was expected to forget that I had children. I was expected to forget that I gave birth to 3 children. That my relationship with my kids was not important. That's basically how the New Mexico Family Court treated me. Like my relation to my children was nothing. Like me giving birth to 3 children meant nothing. That my relationship with my kids meant nothing. That's how they make you feel. Can you imagine going through that for 8 years, being denied your children? Basically made feel like you're garbage and your children don't want you? Do you have any idea what that feels like? Because you obsess about it. You think about it, you obsess about it. You know? I can't let it go. I can't forget that I have children. That's what the New Mexico Family Court want me to do. They want me to forget that I gave birth to 3 children. They want me to believe that I'm worthless, that I'm worth nothing, and that my children don't need me. Do you have any idea how that feels? Any idea? To make you feel like you're garbage and that you mean nothing to your children. And that your children don't need you. And that they don't want you. And that you should go on about your life and you should forget you have children. They took my children. They said I abused them. They told the court that my children wanted nothing to do with me. That Caden, Connor, and Colin hated me. They wanted nothing to do with me. And basically I was told to just go on about your life. You're not allowed to see your children anymore. Your children don't want you. And Stephen Clump allowed it and Armand Carrion allowed it. They did nothing. Nothing to protect my boys. Nothing. They probably don't even have children. They're in court deciding what happens to children, and they're supposed to do the best interests of the children. How is whipping children from their mother for 8 years, ripping children away from their mother, how is that doing the best interest of the kids? That maternal bond that you have with your children, just ripping it apart. You wouldn't do that to animals. You can do it to a mother. You can deprive a mother of her children. Stephen Clump and Armand Carrion. Because you don't give a shit. You don't care. You don't even know what the kids look like. But you're deciding the future of these children, and you're thinking that the best remedy is to rip children away from their mother. That's the best remedy. Shame on you. And shame on the New Mexico Family Court for caring so little about children. I've gone through this for 8 years. 8 years I've been deprived. My kids, my biological children that I gave birth to, that I carried for 9 months, that I breastfeed for 8 years. I have been denied my children. And I'm supposed to go on about my life and forget that I have kids because I'm worthless. In the court's eyes, I'm worthless. My children don't need me. I'm worthless. Who does that to children? Who tears children away from their mother? The New Mexico Family Court does. They tear children away from their mother. They don't even know my kids. They don't even know what my children look like. And for 8 years, they've torn my kids away from me. They've deprived me of that relationship with my children. And they have deprived my children. Since my youngest was 6 years old, they have deprived my children of a mother, a loving mother that cares deeply for her kids. For 8 years, I have not been allowed to see my kids, only through supervision. And the only supervision place was my ex's choosing. I didn't get to choose the supervision place. I was told I abused my children. I was told my kids wanted nothing to do with me by the New Mexico Family Court, that I was not allowed to see my children. And then they said, oh, well, your children can reach out to you if they want. How is my children going to reach out to me? Who is telling my children that they can reach out to me? Who's doing that? Nobody is telling my children that they can reach out to me. For 8 years, Paul Baca, Samuel Baca, and Ginny Schultze and all their family have been telling my 3 boys, Connor, Caden, and Colin, that they're not allowed to see their mother. For 8 years, they've been telling my children they're not allowed to see their mom. I haven't been allowed to talk to my children freely. I haven't been able to go to their school. I haven't been able to meet their teachers. I don't even know what their grades are. I haven't been able to take any pictures. Paul Baca, Samuel Baca, and Ginny Schulte can take the picture, can take my children out of the country. Out of the country. They can take them anywhere in the world. And they don't have to ask my permission. Yet as a mother, I can't even talk to my own children on the phone. I can't even FaceTime. You tell me what's wrong with this country. What's wrong with this New Mexico Family Court? That they can deprive children of their mother. I have been fighting and fighting and fighting for justice for 8 years. The last time I went to the New Mexico State Bar, the lawyer, I have to find what his name was and her name was, they wanted $11,000. $3,000 retainer and another $8,000 for the hearing. That was for 1 day. So if there was any objections, I wasn't allowed to, I have to give them another $3,000 or however. I'm going to get you the names of those people. All they wanted was money. They had the nerve to go on the state bar taking advantage of somebody. If I wanted to pay that much money, why would I go on the state bar? And I'm going to get you the names of those people. I just want to tell you, 8 years I haven't seen my kids. 8 years I've been fighting for my children. I've been deprived of relationship with my 3 sons. I haven't been able to hug my kids. I haven't been able to kiss my children. All because the New Mexico Family Court believes a corrupt lawyer and a corrupt therapist. How is it beneficial to children to be denied their mother? How is that beneficial to children? What kind of a corrupt system do we have that deprives children of their mom? That takes children and rips them away from their mother and destroys that bond. What kind of people do that to children? Stephen Clump does it to kids. Aaron Carrion does it to children. I have been fighting relentlessly for 8 years for my kids. I've had no support system. It's like I'm garbage. It's like I don't care. It's like I'm worthless. I know I'm a loving mother. I know I am someone that cares deeply for my children. And all that was torn away from me. I used to take pictures of my kids all the time. I'd take pictures and post them on Facebook. And then I wasn't able to take pictures anymore. So for the last 8 years, I have no pictures of my kids. And now, because it's been going on so long, he has managed, Paul Brian Baca, Samuel Baca, and Jenny Schulte have managed to convince my children that they don't need me. Instead of having my children running towards me, now I have my kids running away from me. Who does that to children? Who tears families apart? That bond that the mother and children have. Now I'm told I don't know my kids anymore. I'm told my children want nothing to do with me. When I went to court, everything was my word against theirs. Everything. So Stephen Clump, instead of having a guardian ad litem, decided he wasn't going to have a guardian ad litem. And then I was told that I had to do a psychological evaluation. Do you think the New Mexico Family Court provided a psychologist? Do you think? I mean, they told me I had to do a psychological evaluation. So you would think they would provide one, right? Wrong. So for the first 4 years or however, I was told I was refusing to do a psychological evaluation when they never provided one. I was told that I broke into the family home. Paul Brian Baca went to court and told the court that I broke into the family home. And he used the pictures that I took when he kicked in the front door of the house to support his claim. I've gone through 8 years of hell. 8 years of hell. Been denied a relationship with my children. Now my children, Connor, Caden and Colin, Connor goes to the Volcano School in Rio Rancho. Caden and Colin go to Tony Hillerman. Now my children don't want anything to do with me. Instead of running towards me, they run away from me. And you know what? No one cares. No one. I wasn't born in New Mexico, so I don't have any power here. I went down to the roundhouse. I sent like letters to Dr. Phil. I've sent letters to Gordon Ramsay. I've sent letters to Michelle Lujan Gresham. Nobody wanted to get involved. They tell you go to the same places over and over again. I'm supposed to give up on my children. I'm supposed to pretend that I don't have kids. Each day that goes by is another day that my children are being brainwashed. Why is parental alienation not a crime? Why is there no laws against parental alienation? If Stephen Clump did his job right and Deborah Ramirez and Armin Karian, they would have been a guardian ad litem. They would have provided a psychologist. It would have been a court-appointed therapist. It was none of those things. And you know why it was none of those things? Because his father is an ex-police chief. So who is going to go up against an ex-police chief? They won't let me see my children. They won't let me talk to my kids. They won't let me FaceTime my children. I don't know what their grades are. Basically, I have no rights. Why did I give birth to 3 children if I wasn't going to be allowed to see them? Nobody wants to get involved. Nobody wants to help me. Everybody wants to ignore me. Apparently, I starved my children. I locked them outside the door. Connor told me that his father and his grandparents are telling him that they're not allowed to talk to me. If I try to contact my kids, they'll go to court and they'll tell the court that I'm harassing my own children if I try to contact my kids. There's no justice. Family court doesn't care. I'm sick and tired of not seeing my children. I'm sick and tired of having no help. I can't afford $5,000 for another lawyer. And then they want $400 an hour. And then I was told I'd be lucky if I got breadcrumbs. I am a loving, caring mother. I care deeply for my children. I pay them child support. I can't tell you what it's done to me psychologically to not have my children. To be denied my kids. To know that you love your children so much. But because the other parent choose to lie and tell the court all of these things that are clearly not true, and then the court goes along with it. So for 8 years, I haven't had any relationship with my boys. Paul Brian Baca did everything he could to hurt my relationship with my children. I was seeing them at the children's services in Rio Rancho, and they were also going to see somebody 2 doors down. Paul Brian Baca had a fight with Lisa, who was the coordinator at the time, because she told him that the children were out of control. Do you think that's what he told the court? Lamar and Santa Fe, what was her name? Something Lamar. I don't know what her first name is. No. He told the court that it was stressful going over the Rio Grande Bridge, even though the children had been going to Albuquerque since they were little. You know what I mean? They were going to Albuquerque since they were babies, going to Rio Rancho and going to his father's place on the other side. I stood by Paul Brian Baca when his mother accused his father of molesting our children. I stood by him. I didn't know that he and Paul Brian Baca, Samuel Baca, and Ginny Schulte were planning how to take my children away from me behind my back. I had no idea. We weren't even living together at the time. He was living with his father 4 days a week. And the only time he'd call me was to talk to the children. It was not to talk to me. He'd call to talk to the children. And even if the kids were sleeping, he'd tell me I was depriving him of the kids. The same person that's taken my children for 8 years. Damn it, why is this burning? It's burning. I gotta change pan. I've gone through this bull crap for 8 years. I've posted hundreds and hundreds of videos. I've written letters. I've reached out to lawyers. I've done everything in my power to show my children that their mom loves them. Everything. And everything is my word against theirs. These high-priced lawyers, Armin Carrion and Stephen Klump, they destroy families. That's what they do. They destroy families. They tear loving parents away from their children. They have the power to do the right thing. Instead of doing the right thing, I know I love my children. I know I'd do anything in this world for my kids. And to go through this for as long as I've gone through it, and to not be a drug addict, and to not be dead, because that's what he wanted. Paul Brian Baca, Samuel Baca, and Ginny Schulte, they wanted me to commit suicide so that my children would never know the truth. Now my children are so scared to reach out to their mother. So scared. Because they've been doing this to my kids since my youngest was 6 years old. I had the most amazing relationship with my boys. Caden, Connor, and Colin, I had the most amazing relationship. And all that was stripped away from me like I was garbage, like I was worthless to my kids. Just because I don't have, $5,000 to hire a new lawyer, and then another $400 an hour after that. It's going to take probably $20,000 to get a decent lawyer. And then I was told that I'd be lucky if I got breadcrumbs. Because he had won so many cases. He had won everything because he just lied. At one point, his father said I went to the schoolyard and I was in the back of the schoolyard and the principal had to come out and blah, I don't know, like all this. This was something he said in the hearing. All I want is my children. All I want is a relationship with my children. I know my kids. I love my children. And I have their DNA and they have my DNA. And why do prisoners get to see their children and I can't? Why does Paul Brian Baca get the right to take my children out of the country? And I can't even FaceTime my own children. That's what the New Mexico Family Court does. It doesn't do what's right for the children. Whoever said that, that's not true. They don't do what's right for the children. They rip children away from loving parents and feed them to narcissists. That's what they do. That's what Stephen Klump did. And that's what Armin Carrion did. Judge Ramirez. If I was born in New Mexico and my last name was Baca and my father was a police chief and my mother was a fake humanitarian, things would be so much different. But I don't have any of that. I don't have parents. Both of my parents are dead. I don't have a support system. I don't go to mommy and daddy if I need anything. I can't talk to my children. My children won't reach out to me. Connor told me that he's not allowed to talk to me. Who does that to children? What kind of a loving parent tells children that they're not allowed to talk to their mom? I'm not a drug addict. I don't drink. I went to school, back to school. I got 2 degrees, even though I got kicked out of the house and I had to live in my car for 2.5 years. And yet I still don't get to see my children. How long more do I have to go through this? How long more do my children have to go through this? Where's the justice? This thing about the court, the New Mexico family court doing what's right for the children, that is absolutely not true. I have been fighting relentlessly. For 8 years, I've been fighting for my children. I haven't had any support system. They're over there spoiling my children, giving them the latest iPhone, giving them the Xbox, giving them the games, having no rules, having no curfews. I was the one that, monitored everything my children do. I don't know who their friends are. I don't know if they've been to hospital. God forbid, if anything, like my kid, something happened and he doesn't have to tell me. You tell me, how is that right? Why am I not allowed to know anything about my own children? That's how screwed up the New Mexico family court is. Can you get it? Can you get it any more screwed up than that? I can't tell you what it's done to my mental health to go through this for 8 years. You've absolutely no idea what it's done to my mental health. If anybody has been going through something similar to me, or if anybody knows anybody that can do something, because this is not right. My children are so confused, they don't know who to believe. And they've only been hearing one side of the story. I would never do this to my children. I would never make my children choose between their mother and their father. And I've never gone to court and made up lies about their father. Ever. I've never stooped to his level. And to his father's level and to his mother's level. If anybody knows anybody that can do something, because this is not right. Nobody should have to go through what me and my children have gone through. If you don't care about me, that's fine. At least think about my children. I mean, they're going to grow up and they're going to be drug addicts because they're going to be so angry. They're already angry at me. I'm the worst person in the world. Because that's what they've been programmed to believe. That I'm the most horrible person in the world. Anyway. I'm in this fight alone. I don't have any support system. Nobody wants to get involved, so I guess I just continue doing what I'm doing and hope for the best, right? Hope that someday somebody will do the right thing. Somebody will step up to the plate and say, Darlene, I care. I know you love your children. And I know that you got the raw end of the deal. And I want there to be laws against parental alienation. I never want anyone to go through what I've gone through. And there should be laws against parental alienation. Anyway, if you can do something, or if you know somebody that can do something, do the right thing. Do the right thing. Maybe one day I'll win the lottery and I can return the favor. But I just want my children. I'm not asking for fame and fortune. All I want is my children. Anyway, hope people will do the right thing, because I'm running out of options, you know. Thank you. Connor, Caden, Colin, Mommy loves you, okay? Please don't be scared to reach out to your mother. I wish there was more resources for people going through parental alienation. I wish there was more resources. I wish there was more people that are willing to step forward to do the right thing. Unfortunately, it's the people that can't do anything is the people that want to help. And the people that can help and have the resources or the means to do that, those are the people that don't want to do anything. So basically, I'm in this fight alone until somebody wants to support me and help out. And if that's you, I'll be forever grateful. And my children will be forever grateful. Because I know I'm a good mother, and I know I love my kids. And I wouldn't wish this on anybody. Anyway, take care. If you want to reach out, I have a Textnow number. It's 505-427-2057. And I leave my email. All right. Bye, everybody.